Hello, everybody. I always know it's going to be a good night when I see the chat moving as I log in. Great to see so many guys are already out there in the audience. So, welcome. I assume that you can hear me. I'm getting an ad on my screen now, which is always helpful. All right, hopefully you guys can hear me now. Welcome to Cane Rod Pipes Live, the only YouTube live stream that comes with a money-back guarantee. So good to see you all tonight. I've been looking forward to this all day. It has been a Friday to end all Fridays and a week to end all weeks. We've got this guy, which I'm going to have to look at to read. It's Cigar City Brewing Florida Cracker. It's a Belgian white with orange peel and coriander. So let's see who's out there tonight. Let's see, we got Matt's Gentleman's Channel. Ford Smoking Pipes. Hello there, Ford. Chuck, Rob Sharrett, JMZ56, West Virginia Grizzly, Tony 513, Corvette Jim. Good to see you, Jim. Cliff Higgins. How you doing, Cliff? Pipe Writer, Monty 53 Piper, Uncle John, lots of guys out there already. Armchair Piper, George Tiedemann, Portsmouth Piper, Rob Austin, Eric S., Artful Codger, Pipefool, Berserkly, Arkansas Mike, Piper on the 45, Bona Piper. Good to see all of you guys. So good of you to stop in tonight. And I think you're going to enjoy what we've got planned. So I'm going to get a pipe started because I didn't have a chance to before I logged on. This is a pipe you probably haven't seen me smoke. This is actually one that I smoke quite frequently. I just don't smoke it on video very often. Usually because the stem is so awfully oxidized that I'm embarrassed by it. But I had it down in the shop this morning and I decided to clean it up a bit. This is actually an Irish Second, which used to be the Peterson Second brand or second label. And I bought this brand new, well, it's over 30 years now. These were unfinished when they were bought. So if you want to know what an unfinished pipe looks like 30 years on, that's what you got to look forward to. You just have to wait for 30 years. Let's see, Desert Pine Piper, how you doing, Jim? Battle Creek Briar, Jack Kurtz, Frank Demara. I'm skipping over people that I think I already mentioned. Good to see you all. So I am going to put in this Irish Second pipe, some more of this Carolina Red Gretsch with Perique, which is, sorry, I got a little, I've got a little fluff in there from the pipe cleaners. Yeah, it's good stuff. Like I said before, is the sound? Oh, is the audio not good? Oh, good thing I looked, huh? Let me see if I can fix that a bit. Tony 513, Lovin' Carter Hall. That's good to hear, Tony. Joffrey Feinberg, good to see you. Is the snapping, popping, and crackling any better? I don't want you to think I've taken up rap. Real Basic Fishing, good to see you. Welcome. Still a lot of static, huh? Well, let's try something else. Let's see. And let me know if that has fixed it. If not, we're going to go without the microphone. And that's not supposed to happen. Can you tell me if the audio is okay now? Okay, great. Thank you, Christian. If it happens again, I'll just disconnect the microphone. Yeah, Chad, I don't have any pots in line, and there's only one connection, so I can check it. But if it's cleaned up now, I'm not gonna mess with it. Okay. Well, let me know if it goes off. Thanks, Rob. If it goes off again, I'll just disconnect the mic. So, I completely lost my place, which is fine. Still staticky. All right, let's do this then. Hang on, you might jump around a little bit here. Okay, how is that? Can you tell me if there is any crackling now? Because if there is, okay, perfect is good. Thank you, Space Piper Kevin. All right, well, let's go on with that then, and we'll see how it does. This might be a little bit of a challenge when we have our guest on, and our guest tonight is going to be Pipes and Bees. So, looking forward to that. It's still crackling. In that case, it's got to be something outside of me, because yeah, it's just me and the tablet that's transmitting. So we're just going to have to live with it. Some people are saying it's crackling, other people are saying it's okay. Let me know if you absolutely can't hear me anymore, and then I'll worry about it. Yeah, I'm seeing some people are saying the volume is low. There's not a lot I can do about that, except I can try to yell a bit more. What I'm worried about is it's going to be a problem when we get the guest on. So let me just give the microphone one more shot. Is there a drive control? So how are we doing now? And it's still more crackling, less crackling? Stunned silence, less? Okay. Well, we'll go back to this and we'll see how it goes. Well, Cliff, I'm going to take that as a big big plus. All right, folks, sorry about that. Yeah, so again, Irish Seconds pipe with Carolina Red Flake with Perique. The hum might have been because I had it laying on the keyboard of the laptop just now. We'll see. Hillbilly Piper, good to see you. Boris the Piper, Takio Kimura, Ron H. Audio drive control. Ain't no audio drive control here, Berserkly. How'd you know, Christian? This is actually my Monday pipe, yes. And you can see I'm being 50% faithful. Yep, I'm going with it now. Thanks, Rob. So hope you've all had a good week and looking forward to a nice weekend. Philadelphia Piper, Gamecock Piper, good to see you guys. Meership Mountaineer 304, hello there. No, George, this is actually a lighter that Ben, the Artful Codger, was kind enough to give me some time ago. And I don't use it very often, but it had fluid in it tonight, so. I shouldn't say I don't use it very often. I don't use it down here very often. I use it upstairs quite a bit. Oh no, I got Everett and Steve on. Well, I better not do any blending experiments then. Real Basic Fishing went fishing. What did you fish for, Real Basic? PBR Street Gang, how you doing, buddy? Ah, Jim, you got the return to work order? Stripers and catfish. That sounds like some fun. We are, I believe, as of today, they've opened up quite a few of the parks and whatnot here in Pennsylvania. So, Steve, I now know who Real Basic Fishing is. Good to see you, buddy. What was I saying? Well, I just realized the video stream that I'm seeing on YouTube is way behind. Are you guys getting a lot of lag? Eric, I recognized you. You hadn't changed your name on me. That's interesting. It must just be a local thing here. Everett, you did. I'm telling you, if you mix it with the blend that shall not be named, it's even better. Yeah, Portsmouth Piper, they do have some really good beers. This is probably my least favorite of theirs. I got 2 of these. This is the second one. Not because it's bad, but it's just not remarkable. You know, it's a good beer, but some of their other ones, I really like their Maduro blend. You'll have to ask Everett. Ben. Piano Piper, how you doing, buddy? Oh, I haven't tried the High Life. Paul the Piper. Ochoita, how you doing, buddy? Oh, and Stefan Skipper here. Good to see you guys. Space Piper Kevin, be careful with that. It's going to surprise you. Eric, you definitely honor me, buddy. Paul, going for something light tonight with Amphora Full. And Tony, you've discovered Carter Hall. It will treat you well. Yeah, Cliff, that's a good point. I did find a guest that lives further north of me. But actually, quite a few. Quite a few of the guests have been further north of me. I'm not that far. You know, I'm not up in the Arctic, for goodness sakes. Just relative to where you are, Cliff. Well, be careful, Everett. Gamecock Piper's getting very close to knowing what the secret blend is. I know, Cliff. Well, folks, We're at about quarter after. We've got a good number of people in the audience tonight, so I think I'm going to go ahead and move on with the interview. Not interview, conversation. I hate to call it an interview. So our guest tonight is Pipes and Bees. He's been in the YTPC for some time now. He recently went through a channel change, so you may have lost touch with him, but hopefully you've found his new channel. I've gotten to know Pipes and Bees over the past couple of months and have really enjoyed forging a friendship with him and have been looking forward to having him on tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and get connected, and this might take me a minute because we're not using our normal connection method here. Hello.
Hello, I'm here.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, not bad. And yourself?
Not too bad. Sounds like you're coming through loud and clear, at least to me. Guys, let me know how the audio is there. How's the weather there tonight? Just to give us something to
Oh, it's cleared up and got a bit warmer instead of raining. But other than that, it's still not the optimal outdoor weather I would like to have for the outdoor pipe smoking.
Yes, yeah, same here. Like I was telling you the other day, it's just been rainy and cold and kind of disappointing. It's funny, we had a very mild winter here, but spring just doesn't seem to want to get started. So,
right. Yeah.
Such is life. So, what do you? I can see you. The guys online can't. But I see that you're smoking tonight. So, what do you got there in the pipe?
Something that I loaded earlier. I don't really remember.
Oh, you do that too.
Case, yeah. A case like Virginia. So we'll go with that.
All right. So, like I said earlier, been looking forward to having you on for a while now. And I'm not sure how many of the guys out there know you or, have had the chance to get to know you. So if you wouldn't mind maybe just giving us a sort of 5-minute who Pipes and Bees is.
Yeah, we can do that. Well, I used to be a commercial beekeeper. So that's where the bees part comes out of the name.
Mm-hmm.
Pipe smoking. Prior to 2007, I smoked a pipe off and on. But I was mainly a cigarette smoker. Around to, I'd say the past 3 years, I've been a full-time, almost strictly pipe smoker with the odd cigar. And I think that for me, at least, than the cigarettes ever were. Probably the most smoked tobacco or blend for me would be something with quite a bit of dark-fired Kentucky in it, and Virginia, or dark-fired Kentucky and Burley.
Mm-hmm.
It, I don't know, something about that blend, and a good Savinelli or a Costello really works for me.
Well, they're both excellent choices. Did you? I mean, I'm assuming your first pipe tobaccos were not dark-fired Kentucky,
No.
especially given the time frame. What tobaccoes did you start with?
So there's a brand. It was just probably most likely rebranded stuff, strictly for Canadian market. That's where I'm based out of, is Canada, Ontario, and it was Mr. B's, and I don't remember which one it was out of that lineup, but they're all very strong aromatics.
Mm-hmm.
And so that would have been my first, I would say maybe month of smoking a pipe full time. That's what I smoked. When I was smoking a pipe off and on, it was not sure. I don't remember. It was aromatics. It was very could have been that out of that lineup, or it could have been rebranded bulk from probably Lane or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the first tobaccos were aromatic, and like I think a lot of people that first start out, not so much maybe the tobacco you're smoking, but certainly with the inexperience and the tobacco I was smoking, it was not a great experience starting out. Smoked too hot, too wet, didn't know how to clean the pipe, so
Sure.
a whole bunch of things.
So,
It didn't make a very great experience. Get tongue bite. Put it in a drawer for a month at a time.
right.
And eventually forget about the agony, and then pull it back out and try again.
Well, it's interesting to me in most pipe smokers' stories. There's a part of it that's like that, and it just kind of shows you that there's something very special about the pipe that causes people to continue to pursue it, even though it can be quite awful when you first get started. There certainly is not immediate gratification.
Yes, no, there's certainly, it's not something that I think that anybody can pick up and have a great experience immediately out of it. Inevitably, there's something in the learning curve that even somebody who grows up with quite a readily made supply of previous pipe smokers will struggle with. And I had thankfully quite a few examples of people in various times in my life that smoked pipes. A lot of the, I guess, how fast you puff. Certainly, there's all kind of individual and to the tobacco, to the pipe that the person is smoking, and to how much how wet, I guess, a whole bunch of things, and that was certainly something you don't learn by watching.
Right. So there were pipe smokers in your life growing up then?
Yep. Couple major examples that comes to mind. It would be Tom Clofer, which was a neighbor to my dad's, and one of his best friends, and he was a hog farmer, but mostly retired at the age that I knew him, and he smoked a pipe probably about 10% of the time. The other was mostly the vast majority of his smoking was cigars, but he would smoke a pipe, and I don't remember him smoking one blend. It was various blends. Some of them were aromatics, not all of them. I remember certainly seeing some what I would judge to be English style tobacco. You get it by the tin and smoke whatever he'd gotten and then move on. But most interesting about him was he would be so cheap as to smoke every nub of cigar that he had in his pipe. And they were cheap Century Sam cigars. And he also never smoked a briar pipe that I can remember. It was always the hardwoods from Missouri Merchant.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
That is interesting. Yeah, I think I've told you this, but I've done that on many occasions with the cigar that was just too good to put down. And I know Everett's out there in the audience tonight. We both have gone back and forth about that on Instagram, but it's actually not something that a lot of people do anymore, but it was probably more common then.
Yep. He would have gone through the 30s and the Depression and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere's near the mid to end of it, he'd have been old enough to remember that. And there was a lot of, I guess, innate thriftiness that had been inherited and learned then. So what I think is mainly where some of his things he did, not just in pipe smoking, but throughout his character, you could see things that were not necessarily the usual. It was kind of with that generation that either lived through it or parents lived through the Depression era.
Yeah, I think quite a few of us have parents or grandparents that went through that, and you could see it certainly made an impact on their lives. And I'm not surprised that it would make an impact on somebody's smoking habits as well.
Yes.
Interesting. So I wanted to ask you a bit about your part of the world, because you're in a part of the world that most of the viewers aren't. So would you mind saying something about that
Yep.
and what the tobacco scene is like in that place?
Well, certainly the pipe smoking is a vast minority. You do see the odd, always older fellas, usually smoking a 1 or 2 dot Brigham and something very aromatic around town. And you do have the odd person you meet through the local brick and mortar that is younger, starting a pipe, but it is still a lot of people that either used to smoke a pipe and are in their 40s or 50s getting back to it, or they're much older and have always smoked a pipe. Most of the I think of the pipe smoking in Canada is it's not as certainly as taken up or as widely even realized as a normal thing, maybe as like the United States, you would have much people are much more, I think, in tune with pipe smoking as a normal thing, simply because there's more, I think, more pipe smokers over there and stuff. We don't have as many tobacco shops, real tobacco shops either. I think, and even say the U.S., especially ones that have anything to do with pipes.
Mm-hmm.
And would be considered quite a rudimentary, probably amount of pipes, and the tobacco selection is pretty good, but it's not the selection you would get other places, I would say, because there isn't the demand.
Right, and you don't have the ready access to mail order either, if I understand correctly.
Yes, it's not legal to mail orders of tobacco between provinces, as far as I understand it. So you don't have mail order tobacco here or online tobacco here. It's been that way for a long time, and that's probably almost strictly to do with tax purposes. So the government get their tax, and that's quite a steep thing here in Canada. I'm not sure what percentage the tax is off the top of my head, but both in price and in tax, we would probably compare to the most heavily taxed states in the United States, and maybe surpass from a little bit. Which is kind of prohibitive for sure. When it comes to cigarettes and cigars, though, it's still cheaper to smoke a pipe, I would say.
Yeah, well, you're probably looking, I mean, it's probably similar in terms of relative price. It's about, a good cigar is going to cost you about what a tin of tobacco is going to cost you.
Yes, certainly, yes.
Yeah.
A very good brand of tobacco, it's like Baron or Cornell and Deal, something like somewhere between probably $40 and $50 Canadian. So I'm not sure that works out to U.S. dollars for a tin's probably somewhere in the high 30s. So cigars, I'm not sure what would be a good comparison, but they would be a similar markup in between the major probably cigar companies out there that would be in the States or also here.
Yeah.
So probably something that you guys would get for $10 to $7 would be at least $20 here.
Yeah. And that's been in my experience traveling around both the U.S. and also to other countries. It's everything is scaled because of the taxes. So it's not that a cigar is more expensive in one place or the other. It's the taxes layered on top of it. So everything's going to go up by an equal amount when it comes to tobacco. And that relative difference between pipe smoking and cigar smoking is always going to be there.
Yeah.
So what can you tell us about your pipes? Like, do you have a particular style of pipe that you like? Is there a particular brand that you're fond of?
Well, styles do vary pretty wild. My most smoked shape would be 413 from Savinelli. So it's a double and bowl with a slight, probably 1/4 bent stem, and the shank is not straight either. It slightly curves up too. But there's quite a I think next to that, quite a number of billiards and pot shaped pipes that I like to smoke, probably in that order. Depends on what I'm smoking as well, but if it's burley, I think the pot shape is maybe a little bit nicer with burley, for me anyways. Brands, that's another wide, Savinelli certainly would be my one of my most owned in numbers in my collection. Anywhere's probably from at least 10 or 15 of the collection are Savinellis. And then probably my next in favorite brands would be and equal to the Savinellis in how much I like them is the Castellos. But there's quite a good chunk of my collection that are custom builts, BP jums, field stub, or Quarterly Supreme, and they're all widely thought to be from the custom built factory, second lines. Although the BP jums, there is no definite link to custom built. They're certainly do look a lot like a custom built, but they're probably one of my most smoked and favorite pipes out of that collection, the pipe collection in its entirety. There's some of them that get smoked less than others, but I certainly do really like that heavy routed rustication with the custom builts and the other relatives in that kind of era. And I don't know, some about the history and the custom builds, certainly at least a custom dash built. That pipe would be at least probably as old as 80 years, maybe older, depending on where that stamping was started to be used and ended. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
So, you get one of those pipes and it's got a lot of history behind it. And not to mention they're usually fairly well smoked and smoke very well for a, rough and ready pipe. They're certainly not a refined Italian style pipe or like that. Bit chunky, lots of briar in them.
Yeah, but they, I go back and forth on this because they're certainly not attractive pipes in my opinion, but they do feel really nice when you're holding them. There's something about, and for the most part, they smoke well.
Yeah, but if you got one that certainly the bent ones, the drilling almost never I find is it doesn't pass a pipe cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get slightly bent ones or straight ones, I haven't had one that won't pass a pipe cleaner yet. And certainly I can't say that for some brands of modern production these days. Seems some manufacturers struggle with good drilling.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's not a unique problem. But yeah, I just, and this was completely coincidental, but as you were talking about that, I lit up a Marksman that I have that is about 80 years old. And, often when I light this up, I think about, I wish the darn thing could talk because it's probably been places and perhaps had multiple owners. And, there's such a history there that's locked into that briar. And it's just a joy to hold it.
Yes. Yeah. If pipes could talk, some of those older ones would have maybe even gone through, some very interesting times in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're at about 8:45 now. So what I'd like to do, if you're okay with it, is I'd like to see if there's any questions out in the chat room for you. Sound good?
Yep, that's fine with me. Yep.
Great. So guys, do we have any questions for Pipes and Bees? Uncle John asked, "Are you still keeping bees?"
Yeah. Me and my dad still have, I think, 3 hives. There was more, but the winter you always seem to lose a couple, and I'm not sure right now with everything that's going on in the world what they're doing right now with the haven't been able to get out to see how they did through the winter. But yep, still got a few hives.
That's cool. And I'll add to it. Are those honey bee hives or are they primarily
Yeah.
working bees? They're both?
So yep, they're honeybees, and they're for producing honey, and you know the pleasure of I like keeping honeybees, so it's also a hobby that I enjoy.
That's really cool. Everett Young is asking, how many Brighams do you have?
How many Brighams do I have? I got one somewheres, and it is gonna have to have the tenon reepoxied into it. I think probably my first pipe that I started with was a Brigham, but I don't have that one anymore. It, like so many pipes, has some ill fate befall it due to carelessness.
Yes.
Yeah, it fell out of my pocket when I was out and about and was never recovered. But I have the second first pipe I ever bought, which was a basket, some sort of Italian briar, and it is coated in something that is not what you should be using on the exterior of a pipe, and it was really smokes really badly as a result. And I've yet to dig it out and take that off and see, because over the pipe smoking, I certainly have through buying estate pipes learned to do really okay with refurbishment of those. Learned a lot from that. I just haven't got around to refurbishing that one yet. I should do that. See if it makes any difference to it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. So Paul the Piper is asking, do you have a pipe that means the world to you?
A pipe that means the world to me?
I guess he means, do you have a favorite?
Yeah. I would be certainly there would be some that I would be sad to lose or have something happen to them because they simply smoke so well.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have a single pipe that would be
Right.
And I'd be up there at the racks getting them all.
Yeah, I wouldn't go back for just one. I'd go back for the whole set. So we got a couple of bee and honey related questions here. So I'm going to give you 3 questions together here. Do you jar up your own honey? Do you use your own beeswax to tighten the tenons on your pipes? And do you become immune to bee stings?
Okay, so yes to the first two. The jarring of my own honey and the beeswax for the tenons, yes, I do. The second one is slightly more complicated. Immunity would be something that occurs to a virus or a other form of with honeybees, you build up a tolerance is more like it. Usually, anyways, it can go dramatically the other way.
Okay.
Where you become highly sensitive. And if you keep honeybees, this is going to sound wild, but you should be stung at least 200 times a year throughout the whole year to ensure you don't become hypersensitive.
Wow.
Whether that be to the venom or to dust from the colony, which does contain venom.
Huh. That's interesting.
So everyone has a reaction to honeybees. It's just whether it's a natural reaction or a very tolerant reaction, usually due to exposure regularly. People that have extreme reactions, this is considered an allergic reaction, abnormal reaction, and is actually, I think, something only around 10% of the world's population that are truly allergic. So, rather small. You would be much more likely to be allergic to, say, peanuts, I would believe. And we're talking a true allergic reaction. Okay. Everyone has some sort of reaction. It's whether it's outside the norm or not.
Got it. Let's see. So got a couple of tobacco questions, but let me. Everett, who's a fellow Canadian, is asking Northern or Southern Ontario, and then he wants to know if you like Colt cigars.
Okay. I am pretty much. Oh, I'm just thinking here on my geography. I'd be almost as west as you can get, I think, in Canada. The only place that would be further from me would maybe be Windsor, Ontario, which butts right up against the canal or river there by, I think it's Detroit.
Okay.
And and that's about 2 hours from me. I'm based in London, Ontario. So we're right tight on the lake,
and are you familiar with Colt cigars?
Oh yes, the other part of the question. Oh, I forgot. Colt cigars, yes, I am familiar with them, and yes, I did smoke them at some point. But it's been a lot of years, and I don't remember finding them bad. Certainly not my favorite cigar, but
So we've got several questions about tobaccos, favorite tobaccos, least favorite tobaccos. Did you ever have a tobacco that was such a terrible experience that you wouldn't try it again? That sort of thing.
well, the worst experience I ever had was Warhorse Bar.
Oh, I didn't agree with you.
No, I'm not sure why, but whether it was the topping certainly was different at the and this of course was at the time where I hadn't tried anything like that, and it was maybe too soon in the pipe smoking experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next was Peterson's Hyde Park, and that was due to nicotine levels, and probably a little bit early in the pipe smoking. Seriously, it was an aromatic as well, not a strong aromatic, but those two things together was wouldn't be my worst experience, but it was up there with the Warhorse, which I've not retried since. I gave that away, which I think was a big mistake, because now maybe I would enjoy it, but won't know unless I get more.
And you're not going to risk it.
And I'm not going to risk it. So what was the other tobacco
How about
questions there?
Favorite tobacco?
Oh, the favorite tobacco. Yeah, currently it's McBaron's Old Dark Fired, or Amphora Kentucky blend. Those would be the two most smoked. That's all year round. In the summer, though, I really tend to start breaking into Virginias. Probably the most favorite out of the Virginias is Samuel Gauss, like Full Virginia Flake, and then some of the ropes that are straight Virginia. But they're quite powerful on the nicotine and the flavor as well for the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
Virginia Periques are probably, for this time of year and into summer, will feature quite heavily. And I do enjoy the Laodicea blend, but nowhere near as much as I did, say, a year ago. And they're a lot more in the fall or the winter for me, but not strictly the fall or the winter. And there's quite a few I like. There's some from GLPs that I like. There's some from their bulk, from what is the company? I'm trying to remember. I'm gonna have to grab a jar to remind myself. Peter Stokkebye's.
Mm-hmm.
Bulk. My most favorite Laodicea blend is no longer produced with this Syrian Laodicea in it, and that was McBaron's Vintage Syrian. That's my all-time favorite Laodicea blend. But I understand that they produce something probably fairly
Okay.
whether that would equal to the favorite.
Great. So other than a request, how much you charge for honey? Somebody wanted to order some. I think we've actually answered all the questions.
Well, there we go.
Great. Anything you'd like to add before we wrap up?
No, I think I don't have anything to add.
Great. Well, it was really great chatting with you. Really appreciate you being on tonight, and we're already seeing people say it was fantastic, and so the guys really enjoyed getting to know you a bit better. The link
I
to
appreciate that.
the link to Pipes and Bees YouTube channel is in the description for this live stream. So if you're not a subscriber of his, go ahead and check him out tonight and give him a sub. I'm sure you'll enjoy the content that he puts out. And Couch wants you to know that he's afraid of bees. So
Don't be afraid. Just be respectful.
good advice. All right, my friend, I'll let you go. Thanks a lot, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
All right, bye now.
Bye.
Well, there we go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I had a good time. It's hard to keep up with the chat that's going on at the same time that I'm talking to the person. So I hope I didn't miss anything. I think I got all the questions that had come by. But I'm sure that Pipes and Bees will rewatch this at some point, and he'll be able to get you answers to anything that I might have missed. So let's see, it's a little bit after 9. I'll finish this up. I still have that much to go, so we can get going for a little bit longer. See a lot of guys saying it was a good show. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was a bit of a different story than learning a little bit about beekeeping. But that stuff about needing to get stung 200 times a year is, I mean, it's not surprising now that I understand why. It's to prevent you from being sensitized to a single sting. But that's not a job I'd enjoy. Although I, like most of you, I'm assuming, have not been stung that frequently by bees, and I'm guessing that it eventually does become a bit routine. And I know that if you get the stinger out very quickly, the effects are much less than what you would normally experience if you left it in there. So, yes, Tony, yowza indeed. Well, Paul, you pointed out how much you can get for a pot of honey, so I guess that kind of makes up for it. Oh, Jim, this is Cigar City Brewing. It's called Florida Cracker, and it's a Belgian white with coriander and orange peel. And I am now smoking, I switched over during the chat to this Marksman, and it's got Haunted Bookshop in it. Armchair Piper, I never thought of it that way, but I guess I do kind of time it for the length of beer. But good point, Boris. Yes, bees are extremely important. And it's good that folks like Pipes and Bees are out there, even just keeping a few hives. Yeah, Jim, I like the Maduro blend a lot. Now, Everett, we're going to start ordering it in 5-pound increments. No, Cody, I've Still got a good chunk of it left. There you go, Peter. Steve's getting his by the bale. That's funny. Oh, come on, Couch. To be fair, I mean, it's Saturday and Sunday, so I'm going to be smoking more. You mean the bamboo pipe, Tony? It's coming great. You'll see the final installment on Monday. And anybody out there that is following the this bamboo pipe restumbling series that I've got, there's a surprise at the end of the last video, and I have to remember to edit in a warning about that in the beginning before I post the last video. But if you watch it, please try to watch it to the end because there's something important at the end. Todd, if you're asking about nicotine strength, I can't tell you because I don't really get I don't get an effect of nicotine from any tobacco. I'm apparently a mutant. Flavor-wise, I think it's quite nice. I mean, some people do think it's a bit overwhelming. No, you got to work your way up to Five Brothers, Everett, for sure. Oh, Peter, I didn't realize this was your first try. Yeah, he would be proud. All right, Piano Piper, good to see you, Kevin. Take care. Yeah, Sea Smoke pipes. I haven't done a lot of work with bamboo on a pipe. I've done a fair amount with fly rods, and it's a different beast for sure. That might be it, Uncle John. Yeah, Groovin Piper is asking the McBaron HH Rustica. Have any of you guys gotten that? I would imagine there hasn't been enough time to get it in yet. Yeah, I should probably order a tin just to see if it maybe smacks me around a little bit. Because I'd like to know if I just have high nicotine tolerance or if I just have no sensitivity at all. Yeah, the Rustica is the original tobacco that the Indians smoked. I think it's just simply the wild variety that hasn't been cultivated over the years. And I think this blend, if I remember what I saw today, I think it's like 50% Rustica and 50% something else that I can't remember. Steve is going to try it. Steve takes one for the team. Brown Irish Twist, that's not a lightweight blend either. All right, Joffrey, thanks for stopping in. Steve's asking who the next interview is. That's a good question, Steve. So currently, I have Northwest Pipe Smoker Tom scheduled, but unfortunately, he hasn't yet gotten back to me on the final confirmation of that. He was very interested, so I'm sure something's come up. I'm hoping that he gets back to me soon. But if not, we'll reschedule him for a future date, and you'll just get an hour of me next week. So I'll put out the little notification thing that you saw for this one. I'll have whoever is going to be on that night in the notification. Yes, Space Piper Kevin. I hope so too. He's going to definitely be a great guy to chat with for a while. I think you should, Steve. Yeah, Christian, I think I'll probably do very little talking during that one. Charlie Gray got his order in for the H&H, the new H&H blend. Paul, I'm looking forward to it. And that's finally coming up. I think you're, well, I'm not going to guess because I got it wrong last time, but you're on the calendar. You been well, Paul? Everything okay with the family and all? Yes, Chuck. Eddie did order. He ordered 860 of the matches pipes. Cheito, I made 4 of the 8 blanks that I have. I'm working on the other 4 now, and actually, I believe all but one of those has sold. But I'm still waiting on a few folks to confirm their order. They were incredibly popular. Now that's something that if you guys want a camo stem and you don't want it immediately, I could make one for you. Those blanks are available. But I can't take the time to make another batch of 4 right now. But I could put you in the queue with all the other pipes that I'm working on and make one for you if you ever wanted one. Yeah, Paul, that's true. I hope she's doing well. Things here are fine. It's I keep saying that we're healthy and I'm still employed, and I'm with those two things. I'm feeling very blessed these days. Yeah, it really is. Yeah, Jim, I'm probably going to have to use the GPS to get to work when I go back. Take care, Ochoita. Have a good night. Swaggy Man Piper wants me to tell the Flint story again. I put them in a box that I had a cigar box that had all this lighter associated stuff in it, like extra Zippo flints, a few lighters, some matches. It was the most logical place in the world to put the flints, and it was the last place I looked for them. Well, that's definitely a selling point for the 320 KS there, Philadelphia Piper. Well, Christian, that's not good. You know, he says the older I get, the more I notice I lose stuff in my own house. But the problem is when you get a bit older, you'll lose your house. You know, just be wandering around the neighborhood, asking strangers to take you home. Do I have a number one favorite pipe? Not really, Tony. I mean, there's probably 4 or 5 of them that I would feel bad missing, but there's not one that stands out. I love them all. Chuck, it's called, what's it called here? It's called the Clipper Medic Lighter. Clipper. And they make a number of these different colors. There's also one, these were, I forget, I think I got like 4 of these for $6 or something. There's one that's like $15, $18 that you can buy that's metal, so a bit more robust, but this is pretty hard plastic. So I really like them. They are refillable. You can replace the flints. Todd, if you send me an email at canerodpiper@gmail.com, we could talk about it there. That's a great story, Everett. Yeah, that's actually my dogs upstairs. I don't know if you heard that earlier that it sounded like they were having a parade while I was interviewing Pipes and Bees. All right, Andrew, you have a good night too. I think I need to get a new chair here. Not because it's squeaky, but it's just not the right height for this bench, and I'm spending a lot of time at this bench since I'm working here during the day, and it's starting to wear on my back a bit. That's so, Armchair Piper. Your favorite pipe is always the newest. It's funny, I like the newest because, you know, I just bought it. But it takes so long for the newest to start smoking well that I wouldn't call it my favorite. Chair's too low, Christian. If I got a nice fluffy recliner, I'd be sleeping down here all day. Yeah, that is a pretty fine cut on the Five Brothers. But if it was chunkier, it wouldn't be Five Brothers. If you pack it really tight, though, I find that helps a lot. Oh, maybe, but this chair is so old, Christian, I don't know. It's a chair that probably should have been thrown out about 20 years ago, but I put it in the basement instead. My brothers will make you sterile. Thaggerate Cornholio, I don't actually know because I've got some fantastic moderators here that are stomping the trolls out before I ever see them. All right, Beersham Mountaineer, you have a good night too. And stay healthy. Yeah, Chuck, if you pack it tight, it smokes a lot cooler. Jeremy, you like the Clipper lighters? Hey, Double A Pipe Man, good to see you. No problem, glad you could stop in. I don't know, Christian, is Montreal going to let me in? And are the states between here and Montreal going to let me drive through? I'm hoping. So what Bonapiper's referring to is I, for years, have gone up to Montreal right around the 4th of July for the big jazz festival that they have there every year. If I'm vaccinated, well, that's going to be difficult since there isn't a vaccine. And I've missed it the past couple of years. And the last time I went, I got to visit with Christian, and that was a great time. So been trying to get back since, but it just hasn't worked out, and I don't think it's going to work out this year. We won't talk about that, Jim, but you can send me the information if you want. I haven't looked, Everett. I mean, at this point, I haven't seen many things that are canceled that far out, but it might be different in Canada. than it is here. So I don't know if it's going on or if it has been canceled. It is canceled? No. That's got to be a pretty big financial hit to the city. Hey, I'm glad to take a back seat to Peter Sellers there, double A pipe man. Yeah, I'm sure it is, Christian. Yeah, I do. I don't make a lot of them, Tony, but I do make tampers. Uh, Thackeray Cornholio, I did a video a year or two ago where I went to the Seaport Museum at the Philadelphia waterfront. Haven't done much though. Yeah, certainly, Everett. Tony, that would depend on lots of things like what you wanted it made out of and stuff like that. So if you want to get in touch, send me an email and we can talk about it. Yeah, the tool show was pretty cool. I enjoyed doing that. All right, Matt, take care. Have a good evening. What's Pegasus like? I haven't had Pegasus in a long time. It's a good burley blend, but I can't. Somebody else that's had it more recently. No, Bonapiper, we're not doing. The schools are done for the year. They said, so they're still doing schools like the online homeschooling type stuff. But no, there's not going to be any return to classrooms this year. Chuck, is that the Cumberland stem on your pipe? I made Chuck a red Cumberland stem for a pipe of his that I did like. I'm glad if that's what you're talking about, I'm glad you like it. Online school in Ohio as well. Yeah, Cornholio, that was one of his blends. Air popped popcorn. That's interesting. I never thought that, Ben, but I can see where you got it. There you go, Steve. And if a little gets burned on the way, it's no harm done. Online gym class. That's hilarious. Well, I have my wife's sister, my sister-in-law, is a dance instructor for very young children, and she's doing online classes, which I just can't imagine because when the kids are that young, it's probably hard enough to get them to pay attention when they're right in front of you. It is that one, Chuck. I'm really glad you like it. I thought that that color combination worked out well. Good man, Chuck. Yeah, I think. Oh, my TPC dance class on Zoom. That's not something I want to see, Paul. That's almost as bad as our sing along that we're never going to have. Well, guys, we've passed 9:30, and I see our numbers are starting to dwindle down a bit, so I think I'm probably going to call this one to a close. It's been really a lot of fun. I once again appreciate you all stopping in and spending a little bit of time with me. It definitely makes my week better. Like I said earlier, next week I'm hoping that we have Northwest Pipe Smoker, but if not, we'll schedule him for later in the later, and you'll get me next week. But we'll still have some fun. So with that, guys, take care. I'll see you on Sunday, and until then, you'll have a good weekend. Take care of yourselves. Take care of those close to you. Goodbye now.